Hey, what's happening? Jumping has to be one of the most fun and exciting things to be had on a dirt bike, but it can also be the most dangerous. This danger factor only applies when the rider hasn't developed the jumping skills to make a good safe takeoff and landing every time. The best time to start learning is while your child is young. For example, when learning the techniques for cornering, the rider can go as slow as necessary while practicing each technique. They can even practice most of these cornering techniques in a stationary position on the bike stand. Jumping is different in the way that the rider has to commit enough to at least get airborne. And while they're getting in the air, they have to time the compression and rebound parts of the jump with their body position and movements, as well as throttle control, as well as on the landing too. In other words, you can't steal second base and keep your foot on first. So in this Learning to Jump video, you'll see some beginner level 50 riders learning the basic jumping techniques from me in a special school for this video. Now don't be confused with the 265 riders, as they haven't developed the skills to use the benefits of the shifter or clutch. So that makes them look just like they're riding an automatic, just like the 50s. You guys will also learn from the best 50 riders in the country as they race in the Amateur National Finals at Loretta Lynn's. So let's see just how easy and safe it can be to learn the basic jumping techniques. And always remember to keep the fun in learning how to become a better, safer rider. So, got a couple jumps here for you. See them right there? You see the faces?
Yep.
Nice landing on the other side. Nice little flat tabletop. You got two jumps there. One on each side. So let's use both of them. Now wait a minute. Now with the jumping thing, it's all about throttle control and body movement. We're gonna practice jumping standing up. So you're gonna be standing up, and if your head's too far forward, what could happen when you go off the jump? Yeah, you could nosedive. If your head's too far back when you go off the jump, what could happen?
Wow.
Yeah, you could loop out.
Or if you had too much throttle, blown like this.
Yeah, and then if you're too much throttle and you're back, you're gonna maybe do a backflip.
Whee, blow. Or if you have the throttle too much and you're forward,
Yeah.
you'll do a front flip.
Well, that would be different. Front flip.
Or hard.
Yeah, front flip, you have to
So
have
if you hit the jump, you're going pretty fast and you shut off the throttle and your head's too far forward, yeah, you're gonna drop the front end. So how do you control the jump? With your body movement and throttle control. And we want to be in a central location when we take off. Do you want to use or let's see a different guy. Thomas, come on up here. I'll show you what we're talking about here. Stand up on your bike, I'll hold it for you. Now when you hit that jump, you're going to be in the central location. That's right where, well, head just a little bit. Yeah. That's what's called central location, so your head is right over top of the handlebars. And then you have control from there as you take off the jump. You can move forward or back from there. But that's where you want to start from, a central location. And then body movement from there, throttle control and body movement. So let's see what you can do with that and see if you can clear that little tabletop. All right? Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll watch you. Okay, I saw a couple scary moments there, some front end dropping, and Chase also I saw some front end dropping. What happened? What's that mean? What did you do wrong?
Lean forward.
What?
Lean forward.
Yeah, you weren't back far enough. So as the front wheel takes off the jump, the back wheel hadn't taken off yet. And that jump's pretty steep at the top. So when that back wheel takes off, it rebounds, and look what happens to the front end. it drops the front end as it rebounds. So you got to move back against that. Against it means timing. When that back end starts to rebound, you got to move back. And I picked a steep jump like this, steep and short, so you're going to feel it. You know, you're going to feel the compression, you're going to feel the rebound, you got to react to that. So it's a little bit more difficult, but it's a little jump. You're going slow. But that's what I want you to get the feeling of, that compression and rebound. Time it with your body movement and throttle control. And Tice, still got to get your butt back forward. You're up in the front of the bike way too much. When that rebound, if you hit that hard and fast, you'd end up. Because you're up too far. You gotta get back. Been telling you that for a long time now. Let's get Chase out there, Tice, and what are you? Ryder, yeah, Ryder. You guys kind of park over there and just watch him for right now. Thomas is good to use for demonstrations because he's pretty much doing everything right. And you notice here how his head is forward, he's standing pretty tall with his knees slightly bent. As it goes off the jump, he moves his butt back. His knees stay parallel on top of the foot pegs, and then perfect for his landing. He's in the central location, head is forward, back is straight, ball of his foot is on the foot peg, and yeah, picture perfect. So when that bike back end starts to rebound, you just got to nudge back against it, that's all. Alright, let's try it again. Almost always when you land, you should be on the throttle before you land. This has a lot of benefits of making your landing softer and speeding it up, keeping you straight. And notice his body positioning again is good. As he's getting ready to rebound off the jump, he's in a good strong position, standing rather tall with his head over the handlebars. And as it rebounds, he has to move his body back because this is a short, steep jump, and it's going to throw the front end down when the rear end rebounds. So from that tall body position, he had a lot of room to move back against that. But I think he got a little bit more of a front end landing than he anticipated, but not enough to panic rev or anything. He has good body position. He's rode his body positioning back. His butt is back to correct that. And as he lands, he's on the throttle and he's in a good, strong standing position with the balls of his feet on the foot pegs, which also help absorb some of the landing. His knees are above the foot pegs, and his head is forward to absorb that landing. And you can see it there. He was on the gas before he landed. And now we're going to look at Chase. He has some problems here. Now he has his front end high because he used a lot of throttle all the way through the jump. If you remember, the throttle also keeps your front end high. But he only moves like straight down to the bike, and his back is very rounded, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's not a big deal right now, but as he goes too far, the front end stays too high, and when he lands, he has his knees way too far forward and his upper body too straight from his waist up, instead of being hinged over at the waist a little more to absorb that landing so he can row back, which he doesn't row back. All of his weight goes into the front of the bike on his landing. He even gets his foot taken off the foot peg a little bit because he was way up on the arch of his foot instead of the ball of his foot. Okay, when Tice hits this kicker jump, notice how it throws his body forward, because right when he goes off of the jump here, he doesn't move his knees and butt back far enough, and the bike comes up, hits him in the butt, and throws his body weight forward. It could get real ugly if he hit that much faster. You'll be alright?
Yeah, he's
Okay, well, getting the hang of it. Ryder, that was That was better that time. You got a little movement there. It was just, it's not a lot, but it's just enough to stop it from going like that, you know.
Yeah, when I was watching him, I was learning what I was doing wrong, and I fixed it.
That's what you got to do. You got to see what's right and then fix it, you know. Fix it. Thomas is a good example out there. Okay, gonna go down on the jump loop. Now we got some jumps down there. Tabletop. Chase was jumping the whole thing last time. I think Thomas jumped it a few times. You remember where it is?
Yeah, it's over there.
All right, we'll go down there and start warming up on it. Okay, we're going to watch Chase going through this corner and mostly off of this jump here and point out a few of common mistakes that he's doing. Right here, as he stands up for the jump, he has his butt tucked under him so his back is rounded. That is not a strong position to be in. Going off the jump, it's a real gradual takeoff, so there's not really much of a problem here with his takeoff on the jump. But then when he lands, now he is landing with the front wheel high, back wheel will land first, which is good. But when he lands, he does not have the throttle on, so it causes him to land and then bounce off of the top of that jump there. Right here, he should be on the gas before he comes down. This would make the landing much smoother and faster and keep the bike straight, because sometimes it will bounce sideways if you're a little bit crooked already. Now we're going to have a look at Thomas, who has got all the body positions down pretty darn good for jumping. You notice here as he's approaching the takeoff part of the jump, he has his knees above the foot pegs. He's standing nice and tall with his butt sticking out, his back is straight. Good strong position to be in. And then right here, as he lands with the rear wheel first, and he's already on the gas, so it's a softer, faster, smoother landing. Right here you see it. He's already on the gas before he lands. He's not clearing the whole tabletop, but it's a good example of a flat landing. When you want to speed up, you always want to land with the rear wheel first and already be on the gas. Like I mentioned in the beginning, these 265 riders are not advanced enough to use the benefits of the shifter and clutch, so it makes them look like they're riding an automatic. But they do have some problems, as you can see here. The knees are too far forward. He doesn't hinge over at the waist. Check out number 44 in the 50 senior class. Very good body positioning. Look how strong his body positioning is. All those things that I've been talking about, he's doing. And as he takes off the jump, he's in that stance where he has control. Balls of his feet on the foot pegs, knees above the foot pegs. And when he takes off, he must get a little bit sideways from a rut. Notice how he's moving his body to the right side to compensate and turning the front wheel as well. This is why I say the upper body has to stay loose so it can move and balance. here his throttle control, how he's on the throttle before he lands, and then controlling the throttle all the way through the next jump. These guys are in the same class, but they're younger and less experienced. I believe the age bracket can be 2 to even 3 years apart, almost, depending on when your birthday is. So they have to single through the 10 Commandments at Loretta's. These longer face jumps are more gradual, and the wheelbase is on the face for a long time, so they're not as critical with your body movements and throttle control timing. A lot more forgiving. Just have to have the speed up to make them. Here you see a couple guys going off, and this little guy, he's going to elect to seat bounce it. That's a little more advanced technique, but it's easier on those type of long-faced jumps. And number 21 is a pretty good little rider, but he has that bad habit of rounding his back, keeping his butt tucked under him. I would recommend someone showing him how to do barbell squats. Of course, they're going to be very light because he's so young, but just to learn the technique of having a straight back would develop into his muscle memory so he could do it while he was riding. I would hope by now you can recognize how that is just not a strong body position to be in. Okay, this is a very strong rider. Good body positioning. You getting this? And you see there, he's got the balls of his feet on the foot pegs, his back is straight, you know, all the stuff I've been talking about he's doing right. And now he's getting ready for that landing and staying in that central location, right body positioning. You can see there how he's in a strong position to absorb that landing. He even has the balls of his feet still on the foot pegs. You can tell because you see how far his heel goes down. You got to be careful though. If you land too hard, you can sprain your ankle. If you land too hard in soft ground or ruts, you can even get your feet ripped off the foot pegs. I believe that's what happened to Ken Roxon a few years ago when he had his massive arm injuries.